Hello, and welcome to this webinar, Coverage, Connecting Your Business. First, you'll be meeting myself and Mehmet. Then I'll be talking to you about everything to be considered to scale your communications in multiple markets. Further on, I'll be reviewing with you the concerns you may have as a customer and how Voxbone, now part of Bandwidth, can help put this all into perspective for you. Throughout the presentation, you are able to submit questions in the Q&A box of this webinar. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Daniel Miller, and I'm the product manager here at Voxbone. I manage inbound voice, mobile, and SMS. I've been managing voice services for 4 years, including inbound voice at Voxbone and formerly outbound voice at Telstra International, expanding coverage globally and scaling business growth into the APAC regions for European customers. I've developed go-to-market strategies entering 20 plus countries across the globe. I scale business growth by working closely and analysing market and technology trends to ensure my go-to-market strategy is also based on customer needs and trends and use cases. Over to you, Mehmet.
Hi all. So my preamble is not quite as fantastic as Dan's, but my name is Mehmet Hussain. I'm the Technical Design Authority here at Voxbone, and it's generally my responsibility to own the technical pre-sales side of things. So I'm the person who will generally take our fantastic products and creations and work with our customers to deliver the right solution utilizing what it is that we've built.
Thanks very much, Mehmet. So let's talk about scaling your communications. Look at these challenges you'll have to deal with if you are considering scaling your business across the globe. We can make this simple for you. As you can see, you've got a lot to think about. There are new regulators in almost every market you'll enter with its own priorities and specifications. You will need local expertise, and lack of compliance can lead to communications downtime. Not all providers have equally fast deployment times. Across your operations, you'll be handling multiple operations, including having to manage for each market separately, finance and legal resources, service and number management, interconnects and technical infrastructure, contracts and invoices. You will have to handle multiple costs across multiple currencies and purchase orders. Each country you enter will only take into account the scale and growth for that market only. The individual volume per market will not align with the volume of traffic you are operating in total across the globe. This is not cost effective. Your customer experience will vary in each market and prove to be inconsistent to your business end users. Mehmet, why don't you talk to us a little bit about the operations that you know that one would have to handle in that market?
It boils down to regulations, really. Regulations are both the bane of our life and at the core of everything that we do. They drive a lot of what we have to do in the countries to be able to offer these services, and they're often the things that drive customers to come and speak to us because we're recognized as experts in the industry. So a lot of the work that I do is helping customers understand exactly what regulations in what countries apply to what number types in what scenarios for what one of their customer types, and how to disseminate that down to their customers. This bit of the soup is often overlooked, but is fundamentally important to international scale.
So of course, you're doing that just for Voxbone, but if a customer was handling multiple suppliers on their own, they'd have to consider those bilingual challenges, as well as the legal representation required for each of those countries that can add further complications to your go-to-market strategy, as well as launch timelines that would vary market by market. And in some markets, you'd be required to have a physical presence.
Yeah, you're totally right. We often speak to customers who have got already developed large legal resources to try and solve these problems, and with the best intentions in the world, they've been doing it for a few years. They've got 5 or 6 people in 6 or 7 countries, but then they come and speak to Voxbone and they realize just how big the mountain they were trying to climb is and how simple we can make it. It becomes a no-brainer.
Sounds great. So as you can see, you'll have a lot to consider, all of those complexities. The timelines and launch dates can vary market by market. You need to take into account all the physical connections, the designs, the build, and the maintenance in each area, region, or market. One of the most effective strategies for growth open to service providers remains global expansion, both to better support existing customers as they scale their operations and to bring in net new opportunities. We know that as an enterprise business, in order to scale your operation and expand your global reach, You will only be seeking a provider that offers a full PSTN replacement in the majority of its country coverage. You want to work with your provider as you look to expand your business in certain markets. Mehmet, can you talk to us about how many countries we're currently operating in?
So, I mean, this number keeps changing, and I struggle to keep track because we're expanding so quickly, and that's not meant to be just a shameless plug. It's a reflection of the truth. To my knowledge, we're full stack in 34 countries, and that's quite some achievement. The way that we've developed this coverage, the depth that we're able to deliver it, the interactions we've got with the local regulators, all under one roof, owned by one organization, it's otherwise unheard of in the wider telecoms market.
Amazing. And you've sat with a lot of our customers. What's the main driver behind entering these countries from your perspective?
So you've got these organizations who have done a really, really good job in their location amongst the people and the environments that they know well. They've developed their app widget or something that they want to expand. They've somewhat conquered the market that they're in, or realized that the market that they currently sit in hasn't really got much room left for them, and they've got a certain niche which applies to another area in the world or whatever. But essentially it boils down to, we need more global expansion to be able to deliver a better solution, serve more global enterprises. Enterprises are moving global. If they can't have the same experience everywhere that they operate, it's a negative mark against the supplier. So it's this drive to serve an ever expanding gamut of enterprise organizations who are on their international expansion, driving the international expansion of the tools which those enterprises are going to use.
Thanks very much. So that's 34 countries we operate full stack in. That's a full PSTN replacement across 34 countries, but we actually operate services in more than 60 countries. From having worked with customers across multiple use cases, we have experience operating in and entering multiple countries, including having to handle those in-country licensing and registration with the national regulatory authorities, emergency calling requirements, number and CLI requirements, interception legislation, direct end-user requirements, reseller or sub-allocated business end-user requirements, porting requirements, and of course, use case validation for number intent. That's a long list. Programmable compliance. Our platform will deliver clear messaging to you and requirements to you on the compliance requirements in market, such as documents required across end-user regulation and operator licensing in a single regulatory interface. In the platform, each country is programmed to deliver across each customer type and each customer use case. We have the APIs to manage your compliance in a single center manner, or you can submit these requirements simply via our front-end portal. This is our standard mechanism. Behind the cogs of our platform and under the hood, our engine is being managed and processed by our professional team, including regulatory and compliance leads, legal counsel, and our number ordering team. We are taking care of this all for you. Gross domestic produce and customer demand were the key factors in identifying which markets we want to full stack enable. We have built up in-region resources to better build relationships with domestic providers. We have made a number of investments in expanding our core network to replicate the way we deliver services in Europe. Why do we expand into other countries? To better support customers across multiple business sectors in multiple markets. For example, having multiple offices in different countries and in different regions. Single contact centers that wish to operate as an endpoint for multiple inbound voice numbers in multiple regions or countries. Always considering cost effectiveness. We've recently concentrated on our expansion in the Middle East, launching inbound services in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Egypt, and Jordan. We already offer outbound and inbound voice in Israel. Why coverage in Saudi Arabia? Providing voice coverage in the world's most strategic business markets, Saudi Arabia is the largest economy in the Middle East and the 18th biggest in the world, thanks to its status as the largest global exporter of petroleum. Toll-free is a critical channel for businesses building a local presence in new markets. Toll-free numbers are ideal for contact center, conferencing, and corporate telephony use cases, providing a cost-effective path into the country that doesn't require physical presence. Ideal given the current global situation with COVID-19. Economic forecasts suggest the global recession will be felt less severely in many parts of the region than some more economically mature markets closer to home, possibly as a result of the swift and stringent actions taken to limit the spread of COVID-19. We've packaged in Qatar, Jordan and Egypt, as well as service Israel, already to ensure we are setting foot in providing a full Middle East toll-free solution for your central Middle East conferencing and contact center needs. All you have to do as a Voxbone customer to add coverage in the new country is provision phone numbers, either through our online platform via our API, then follow our clear guidance to fulfill any regulatory requirements for a given country.
So, over to the customer's perspective, what does this look like? You've heard about what we can do, where we can do it, how we can do it, why we've done it, what fantastical bells and whistles this will bring you, but what does it look like when you want to actually consume our services? So our core network is spread across the globe, and it interconnects all of our local connections into local carrier networks, all joined together via our wholly owned and operated backbone. This is a nice graphic which illustrates the typical latency between points on our network, but it serves to show you we have actually got a real network that spans the globe. So if we talk about Zoom, we've been working with them for approximately 6 years. They started with us to enable their inbound dialing feature on their conferencing product. So we provided them with inbound numbering around the world to complement the Zoom invites that we are also now used to receiving. Over a long-standing period of time, we've proven that our service works. We've proven that we've got real regulatory links in those countries, so they had enough confidence in us to start developing new products around the services that we can offer. Enter Zoom Phone. It's a newcomer to the UCaaS industry, and we are working with them both on a direct and a BYOC type approach, where we're superpowering the capability of the Zoom Phone platform. And if we have a look at Aircall, another good example of an organization that's been working with us for quite some time. They started with us because of our capability on our platform around APIs to manage and maintain the services that they're procuring from us, and they're still with us because of the coverage that we've got, the depth of coverage that we keep expanding in lots of different countries, the rate at which we're expanding our coverage into new regions. All of this enables them to keep pushing their product and allowing their customer base to consume in a standardized format across the board, regardless of where they're operating. Now, if we have a look at the last example, Nice in Contact, they're a very significant cloud contact center provider who, again, have been in the industry a while and have been working with us for a decade now. They started with us when we were only able to offer inbound numbering. They're still with us 10 years later, and we are working hard with them behind the scenes on many new things to come. A couple of customers that I can't mention for obvious reasons by name, but this is not a limited scenario. There are 3 or 4 significant large customers that I'm working with now to help deliver on the journey that they started 6, 8, 10, 12 months ago to launch their new products worldwide. Customers are launching with Voxbone on a daily basis because of the depth and breadth of coverage that we can deliver over a single point of connection into our network. That sentence in itself is something which not many other international carriers can say, yeah, we can do that too.
Thanks, Mehmet. So how can we help you summarize your coverage expansion? Your business identity can be recognized as an established voice presence only. There is no certain requirement to be physically located in country. For your operation, importance of local numbers offers credibility of your business to your customers, especially contact centers. Consolidating this into the cloud with one carrier makes sense. Build your voice solution around the world and scale for growth. Augment your voice infrastructure via our API rather than implement OpEx in the country. So, what can we give you some key takeaways here? Consolidate to the cloud. Consolidate your voice solution in one area of management. Allow yourself to reduce your costs by entering a partnership across one area of service management, and enter an easily scalable solution and pathway. And now to review your questions.
Brilliant. Thanks very much for submitting your questions. So we have had quite a few come through. Question 1, what criteria do you use to decide which countries to cover next? Well, first of all, we conduct a number of customer interviews on a regular basis with select customers to establish our business growth with those customers. We look at the sectors that our customers are serving, the business sectors and the markets, and we try and do this as quarterly or as regular as possible. We also monitor market and technology trends, so where we can see penetrating growth in certain countries that have surrounding countries where we haven't yet entered, so we can seek a trend of volume and traffic in the area and the region. And we're continuously monitoring specific traffic amongst key sectors and across our customer segmentation, including various business areas as well. Our next question: how can I find out if you have coverage where I need it? Well, actually, on this webinar, there should be a link that links for country coverage. It's actually at voxbone.com/coverage. On that page, you can select to view all countries, and you can filter that per country, which will give you a result of whether we have services in those countries, including local numbers, national numbers, mobile numbers, toll-free numbers, which will include inbound voice, whether that country is enabled with outbound voice as well, emergency services, SMS, number portability, and fax support as well. So that's one way of reviewing our country on the page. You can also download the coverage, so you've got that offline, but of course always keep coming back to the page as we're growing our coverage quite regularly. Or you can just search country by country if you want to, if you don't want to filter out that view.
I can see that we've had another question come in, Dan, and it's on full stack PSTN replacement. So I'll cover this one. What is full stack PSTN replacement? So for us, we define this as 5 key features. It is the ability to give you international DIDs, the ability to offer you international termination, the ability to offer you national termination, where you are able to present localized CLI and access the national dial plan of said country, the ability to offer you number portability and emergency services. Offering those 5 services is what we believe constitutes to a full stack PSTN replacement type service, because it's the same kind of service that you would only otherwise expect to be able to get from your local incumbent. So think your BT in the UK. We can do this in 34 countries, and it's all connected back to our core network. So you can consume this full stack PSTN replacement service in all of the markets where we operate down one single connection into our network. So that's what it is and why we think it's beneficial to use us for it. Dan, I can see another question coming in that looks right up your alley.
Thanks very much, Mehmet. What are the upcoming coverage plans? Well, fantastic. So we're actually expanding continuously, and on our roadmap at the moment, we are looking at Jordan toll-free coverage, Hong Kong toll-free coverage, Singapore toll-free coverage. So around those toll-free markets, we're hoping to enter all of those markets in Q1 of 2021. Also, we've had a specific requirement to expand a short code number range in Australia. So by short code, that's just a 6-digit number. So we'll be starting with 13 and then a 4 digits, so we could have vanity numbers there or just standard numbers. That's something we've been asked to by a particular customer to extend coverage with, and we're supporting them with that, with their business and their growth. And we see potential with that amongst other customers that we've had some interviews with as well. We're also looking to expand around Q1 of next year in Hong Kong and Singapore for geographic numbers, South Korea, Russia, Israel, and Thailand for a full PSTN replacement. Joining that question, I see another one that's come through. What is the latest coverage added? So what have we done most recently? Amongst looking specifically at our entering markets as a whole, we're always looking to increase feature and functionality in country where we weren't necessarily able to support the full features at first, but it was always been on the roadmap. So, for example, we've recently opened up porting of Switzerland toll-free numbers. So our customers have always been able to buy numbers, but not always been able to port. We can now port numbers in for our customers, and that's actually been incredibly successful because we've had quite a few customers that have started porting in numbers immediately, and we've recently opened up toll-free services. As you could see in the webinar, Egypt, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia, and as I said just before, soon Jordan. We've opened up porting for toll-free numbers in Romania. This year, 2020, we've opened up a mobile number service in the Philippines. We've now been able to provide a full PSTN replacement in Cyprus, and we've also been able to provide porting of geographic numbers in France and Greece. That's just a summary of the latest coverage we've been able to add. Yeah, there's more to come. Mehmet, I see another live question that's come in just for you.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of questions from Ben, and he's asked, do we provide in-country data to customer sites, and can we deliver SIP to an FQDN? So Voxbone are specialists in providing the voice backbone, the voice call, the connection into the local. There are many providers out there that can provide data circuits at very competitive rates, and it's not our speciality. So no, we don't provide the physical connectivity which you might consume SIP over. Moreover, we allow you to consume our SIP services via any connection. So the majority of our customers consume straight over the internet. You can bring any interconnectivity provider you like to come and meet us in any one of our locations. And equally, we work with software-defined interconnectivity partners like Megaport to offer software-defined interconnects to cloud instances and other data centers where they're present. So while we don't provide the in-country data connection, we're pretty sure that we can cover that with you and give you the right guidance to make the right decision. And your second question, can we deliver SIP to an FQDN? Yes, absolutely. We can deliver SIP to an FQDN or an IP address. You can run things like DNS SRV behind the FQDN as well. So we've got another one coming in from Francois asking about BYOC models offered by certain vendors. So BYOC is a concept in the industry of being able to glue any carrier to any service. So there are two people that you need to speak to in this negotiation per se. You need to speak to your carrier to ask if they've got an integration with such and such platform, and you need to speak to your platform to make sure that they're okay with you bringing another carrier, which could potentially be cannibalizing some revenue that they might otherwise think that they might be able to capture. And we've discussed why someone might want to do that in other webinars. So we have got a list in our library of the platforms where we've got pre-built integrations documented, but we've got quite a significant list of other customers using us for numerous platforms, both as part of a standard deployment model and as part of a non-standard bespoke deployment model. So specifically, we've been asked about Zoom, Aircall, and Nice inContact. Yes, they've all got bring your own carrier model. Just looking at questions as they come in.
What is the proportion of your sales dedicated to other providers versus end users by Christoph? Thanks very much for that question. So we do have we serve both direct customers and other providers as well for reselling purposes. There is no specific target. We serve both sectors, both target audiences rather specifically. So we have a specific business model that will serve direct customers, and we have a business model that serves sub-allocators and resellers or customers with particular use cases. So we're set up specifically around the customer use case, and don't look at the business proportionally as to for the number allocation that we provide there.
Just to add a little bit to that answer, Dan, because Dan's very right. We serve both areas of the market, and historically, people who have been aware of Voxbone, I mean the Voxbone of old, we typically dealt pardon me, we typically dealt directly with resellers and service providers to bake our services in. And about 3 years ago, we properly started pushing and launching our direct-to-enterprise model. So there, historically, yes, we had a large reseller base, but now we have also got a large number of enterprises working with us directly, and it's really centered around the use case that the customer is trying to solve for, more than the position in the market that they play.
Thanks, Mehmet. We've got another live question come through from Tanel. How do you manage acquiring and providing customer phone numbers or number blocks given the wide variability in technical capabilities, setups, and regulatory landscapes in various countries? Without speaking direct, I think I'm going to try and interpret that as are we able to purchase consecutive number ranges in country or specific number blocks in, say, 10, 50, or 100 with the regulatory landscapes where there might be a minimum or maximum amongst the regulations? That maybe I just want to check, is that how we see that here? Because I can go ahead and answer that.
Another way I can see this question asking is almost how does Voxbone be Voxbone? I think it's a very good question, which we could probably do an entire webinar on alone. The crux of it seems to be around acquiring large blocks of numbers from multiple countries and then making them available to our customers in a homogeneous fashion, which is absolutely what we do. So we've got local in-country expertise. So we have a huge legal team that interfaces directly with the regulators in the countries that we operate in to make sure that we're acquiring numbers directly from source. And we ingest those into our platform where we perform all necessary manipulations to make sure that we can represent these to our customers in a homogeneous fashion. In short, we can manage to do this because this is what we do. This is all we do, and we're specialists in it. So we can absolutely represent that in an easy to understand way for our customers, including giving you real-time configuration options for all the moving parts of the system. So this I would encourage you to sign up for a free account on the Voxbone platform and see what we're talking about, because it really is as simple as it seems.
Thanks, Mehmet. I'll just add to that we don't provide any specific restrictions to our customers with reference to having to purchase a number block or consecutive numbers. We can provide single numbers. So with that respect, there's no limitation to have to purchase a specific volume. It doesn't have to be consecutive. We do all of that legwork by holding an inventory of numbers or holding a specific ordering process with our networks, and don't pass that onus onto our customers, so to speak. And that brings us to a point where, unless there's anything else that Mehmet may want to add here, that please take a look at our contact details on the webinar link. We've got our email addresses directly there. So if you have any further questions, please do feel free to message either Mehmet or myself direct from those links via email. We can come back to you with answers to any further questions you may have. And thank you for logging in and to this webinar. Mehmet, was there anything else that you wanted to add?
Just echoing your statements, really, Dan. Thanks for giving us the time and listening to what we had to say. Please feel free to reach out to us to the details on screen. We'd be happy to continue this conversation with anybody.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, everybody, and have a great morning, day, or evening, wherever you are. Thank you.